So today I want to walk you through a bit of a framework that I've been developing as I've been going through the hardest YouTube challenge I've ever done.
This challenge might just break me.
At the beginning of the year, I set a goal for myself that I would achieve a full-time income within just 1 year. And I got way behind on blog content. Honestly, this has been the most challenging year I've experienced. And it's been really difficult and I have not had time, and yet I'm not giving up on the challenge. So I started a challenge within the challenge. And that challenge was to create and publish 30 videos and publish them over the course of 30 days. I started recording the first video at the beginning of August, but I started the publishing schedule August 21st. Now I'm not just creating and publishing shorts. I'm not creating a video and then clipping it into 12 shorts. I'm not doing any of that. I'm trying to create the kind of videos that people should come to expect from this channel, even when they're watching it 3-4 years from now, and it's something I am focused on and creating 1 video a week. That's hard to do on a daily basis, and it's forced me to stretch myself way beyond what I thought I could do. It's also forced me to simplify, and that's what we're gonna talk about in the rest of this video. The steps to simplify your content creation process are, well, actually really simple. A lot of YouTube teachers out there are gonna give you hundreds and hundreds of different things you can do to level up. And it's really easy to look at each of those things and feel like, oh, I gotta do all of them. And if you just try to do 10% all at once, you will be overwhelmed and your videos probably won't be very good. So it's really important to make sure that you're focused on the basics, and then that if there's some aspect of video creation you wanna work on leveling up, just focus on one at a time. Don't do too many. Let's focus on one. Today, I want to focus on simplifying. In order to publish 30 videos in 30 days, I am having to do a lot of video editing. That's taking up the most of my time. Editing, for most of you, I hear this in the comments all the time, is the most time-consuming process. But also, creating videos and filming those videos has a huge impact on the amount of time it takes to edit them. So building a simple sort of template or framework for how you make videos is a really good way to simplify this whole process and make sure that each video isn't taking you forever. So whenever I plan a video, I start with a couple of questions. The first question here is, what is the one main takeaway I want people to have from this video? For this video itself, my main takeaway, what I want you to walk away from this with is ignore a lot of noise and to simplify your process. The next thing I ask is, what from this topic could I share that would make people want to come back and watch more of my videos? What could I present that would make people want to subscribe? Sometimes it's what can I do? Sometimes it's how can I do it? Can I do it in a way that will engage people or encourage people, that will help them to feel better and to actually be able to improve their lives? And then the third question I ask is, what can I invite viewers to do as a result of watching this video? Every video should have some call to action. Now, it's really great in the middle of a video to say, you know, if that was really helpful to you, I hope you'll click the like button. That sort of thing can encourage people to do something that they just might have overlooked. But don't waste a lot of time on that. People don't want to be interrupted from why they came to the video because you're making a request of them. So keep it simple, make it fun, and encourage people to like your video, but that's not the main call to action I'm talking about. In every video, usually somewhere toward the end of like the reason they came to the video, at that point, we want to encourage them to do something else. Then I just focus on a very simple outline for my videos. I start with the brief introduction, and I spend a little bit of time planning that so that there's a bit of a hook. Then I have the main content. If you script your main content, it will take you longer to plan your videos, and the video will probably come out feeling pretty flat. You have to be a little bit extra energetic and happy, to the point that it feels a little bit absurd. Otherwise, it just won't come through. And when you script your content, it's not gonna come through. Okay, the next step to simplifying this whole process is to really simplify the editing. I'm gonna give you just a few tips here because otherwise this video is gonna get super long. The first one though, is to keep the filming simple so that you don't have to do as much editing. It's really easy to feel like your filming needs to be perfect. The reality is that if you let certain like slips stay in, you're gonna show flaws, you're gonna show humanness. And it takes flaws to build connection. People don't connect well with robots. Think about if you've ever had to watch a training video, a company training video, and how fake it all seems. It's all like perfect. They're doing everything right. You know, the fire alarm goes off and everybody stands up from their desk and walks straight out their door and down the hallway, and In a nice, straight, single file line, they walk down the stairs. Have you ever actually been in a fire drill or had the fire alarm go off in a workplace? That is not what happens. In your videos, if you don't behave like a human behaves, nobody will ever relate to you. So allow yourself to make some mistakes every now and then and to keep them in the video. In a video on this challenge channel literally the video that was published today, I couldn't remember a word. I said the wrong thing. And I was like, oh, that was silly. I should know better. And I said the right thing. And I actually turned it into a little bit of a joke. And my wife was watching the video and she texted me and was like, this is my favorite video so far. And she specifically pointed that out and how that was funny and endearing. Allowing yourself to be human in your videos will save you a ton of time on the editing and also make you more relatable to the people watching your videos. Next is to not overdo it with additional cameras and with B-roll. It's really easy to gather a ton of B-roll and then have to spend hours sifting through it to find the right little clips to include in your video. If you plan the video out and you're like, well, I could really use a few little clips of B-roll, then go get those few little clips of B-roll and then include them in your video. It can be really helpful to have tons of B-roll that you can use and just reuse on your videos. That's fantastic, but it can be really time consuming. If you're in a time crunch, do your best to plan the video itself and to get only the footage that you need and include it in the video. But if you're doing this as a side hustle right now, you need to try to be a minimalist when it comes to filming and only get as many takes as it takes to get it right enough, not perfect, just right enough. The next tip is to take any little cut-ins that you're gonna use. If you're gonna use text on the screen, any of that kind of stuff, create it one time and then reuse it. Go to your previous video, highlight those little things, copy them. Command or Control C, copies. Go to the new video and paste it in there in the right spot and then just change the words and save yourself several minutes, maybe an hour or more in every video by not having to recreate something you already created. Next is thumbnails. You can spend a lot of time trying to take perfect pictures for thumbnails, but you're like, oh, I don't have a photographer, I don't have a studio. How am I supposed to take really good pictures to make, Mr. Beast quality thumbnails? One fantastic way to do this is literally when the camera's rolling to film your video, at the very beginning or at the very end, wherever you want to do this, just take a minute and strike a few poses that you feel like would be appropriate for the thumbnail of the video you're creating. And hold it for a couple of seconds looking at the camera and then move on. If you try every time to find a good frame from your actual video content, you can I have wasted a lot of time, probably an hour in some cases, trying to find a really good frame. So take a second, strike a pose, and then you can move on and you can use one of those frames from that. And use that to create a thumbnail. On top of that, whatever software you're gonna use to create your thumbnails, just create some templates you can reuse. I use Photoshop for mine because I have Photoshop, but I don't build a new file every single time. I take one Photoshop file that we've already used to create a thumbnail. I put the new photos in and I have the same backdrops and I have the same color scheme and all that stuff. And now they've made it so easy, right? It's just boom, there I add a little gradient in the background, I change the words, I move things around just a little bit so it looks really nice and unique, not just like my last thumbnail, and it's hard to even tell. That's what I'm doing on this channel right now. Next, we want to keep the publishing as simple as possible. You can spend a long time trying to write really good video descriptions. I write a few sentences, right? If there's anything that I promise to link to in the video, I put it there in the description. I also usually pin a comment on my own video. If there's links, I'll put them in that comment and I'll pin that comment because people see the comments a lot more than they see the video description. If you're gonna do timestamps, fine, but you can also just let YouTube create their own timestamps or just not do them at all. Simplify and don't feel like you have to do all of the things because each one of those little things that you do might have an impact, but if it does, it's probably gonna be very little. The other thing though that I do when I publish videos is I don't publish videos immediately when I upload them. If at all possible, set a publishing date and time, whatever. If you're gonna publish every Tuesday at 2 p.m., that's fine, do it. But don't upload your video Tuesday at 1:30 p.m. Upload your video at least a few hours before, upload it as private or whatever, let it process fully. That way the people that watch your video will get to see a full quality version of your video and not some really low definition version that's not gonna be a very good experience. If you can give yourself some sort of challenge, if you publish weekly, that's fine. Maybe say, you know what, for the next 2 weeks, Or maybe over the next 2 weeks, I'm gonna make one extra video. Just give yourself a challenge that's gonna push you beyond what you're currently doing. I also just want to encourage you that this all gets easier, it's better, the more you do it. If your videos aren't perfect now, that's fine, neither are mine. And I've been doing this for like 8 years. Give yourself room to grow. Most people would rather you just be you. But right now, what I want you to do is figure out how you're gonna simplify your own video process. That's gonna make the most benefit for you and the biggest difference for you on your channel. Go make that happen, and we'll just see you next time.